Failure. The very word makes many people feel heavy inside. From childhood, we are taught to avoid failure, to treat it as something shameful, as a sign that we are not good enough. But the truth is very different. Failure is not the end. It is the beginning of growth. Every failure carries a lesson. Every setback hides a seed of success. The people who rise high in life are not the ones who never fall, but the ones who fall again and again and keep standing up. This is the story of Sarah, a young woman with a dream. From a very early age, Sarah loved words. She filled notebooks with poems, stories, and thoughts about the world. When other children ran outside to play, Sarah sometimes stayed indoors, scribbling her imagination into sentences. Her teachers admired her creativity, and her classmates sometimes asked her to read her stories aloud. Each time she shared her words, her heart raced with excitement. She dreamed of one day becoming a writer whose books touched people's lives. But dreams are often tested. After finishing her studies, Sarah decided to submit her writing to publishers. She prepared her best work, polished her stories, and sent them out with hope in her heart. Weeks later, the replies arrived. Each one was a rejection. Some letters were polite, others were blunt, but the message was the same. We are not interested. At first, Sarah tried again. She thought perhaps she needed to improve. She wrote more, edited carefully, and submitted to new publishers. Once again, the rejections poured in. Slowly, they began to weigh her down. She started to wonder if her dream was foolish. Friends around her moved forward in their careers. They got jobs, promotions, and recognition. Meanwhile, Sarah sat at her desk with piles of rejection letters, asking herself if she should give up. Her confidence began to fade. The stories she once wrote with joy now felt forced. Sometimes she stared at a blank page for hours, unable to write a single line. She began to avoid talking about her dream, afraid of being laughed at. The thought of failure followed her everywhere like a shadow. One afternoon, Sarah decided she could not carry this weight alone. She visited Mrs. Collins, her former school teacher, who had always believed in her. Sitting in the small, cozy kitchen, Sarah finally admitted, "I think I need to give up writing. Maybe I am just not good enough." Every attempt ends in failure. Mrs. Collins listened carefully, then placed her teacup down and looked directly at Sarah. "My dear," she said softly, "do you know how gold becomes pure? It must pass through fire. The heat does not destroy it. It makes it shine brighter. Failure is your fire. It may feel painful now, but it is shaping you, burning away your fear and making you stronger." Sarah frowned, unsure if she could believe it. "But what if I keep failing?" she whispered. Mrs. Collins smiled and leaned forward. "Failure does not mean you cannot succeed. It means you are learning the ways that do not work. Each rejection is not a wall. It is a stepping stone. You must change how you see it. Failure is not your enemy. It is your teacher." She then told Sarah a story about a young painter from many years ago. The painter dreamed of showing his art in galleries, but each time he submitted his work, he was turned away. Critics told him his style was strange and unworthy. For years, he struggled, feeling invisible. But he did not stop painting. He painted in small rooms, on scraps of paper, and on walls no one cared about. Years later, people began to notice. What was once rejected became celebrated, and his work inspired generations. "Imagine if he had stopped," Mrs. Collins said. "The world would have been poorer, and he would have never discovered the success waiting for him beyond failure." Sarah sat quietly, absorbing the lesson. She realized something powerful. Failure had not been blocking her path. Failure had been guiding her. Each rejection taught her what to improve, what to refine, and how to grow. Her dream was not impossible. It was simply unfinished. That night, Sarah returned home with a new perspective. She pulled out her old stories and read them again, this time not with shame, but with curiosity. She noticed weaknesses she had ignored before. She marked them, rewrote passages, and promised herself that each rejection would become a tool, not a wound. From then on, Sarah built a routine. Every day she wrote, even when she did not feel inspired. She studied the craft of writing, read books, and sought feedback. Whenever a rejection letter came, she placed it in a folder labeled Steps Forward. Instead of tearing her down, each letter reminded her that she was still moving. Slowly, her voice grew stronger. Her writing became sharper. She began to send her work again, not with fear, but with courage. Months turned into years. The rejections did not stop immediately, but Sarah's resilience grew. Then one morning, she opened an envelope that was different. A publisher had read her story and believed in it. They wanted to print her book. Sarah could hardly believe it. Her heart raced as tears filled her eyes. After so many failures, the door had finally opened. When her book was released, readers connected deeply with it. They praised her honesty, her imagination, and the way her words spoke to their own struggles. The book became a success, and Sarah was invited to speak at schools and events. Standing before young audiences, she often said, "Do not fear failure, fear giving up. Every failure carries the seed of your success." Looking back, Sarah realized something profound. Without the rejections, without the failures, she would not have developed the strength, patience, and skill needed to succeed. Failure had not been the opposite of success. It had been the path to it. The lesson of Sarah's story is one that applies to all of us. We all face moments when we fall. We all face rejection, disappointment, and setbacks. But we must remember that failure is not a dead end. It is a teacher, a guide, and sometimes even a blessing. Success is not built in spite of failure. It is built through it. So the next time you fail, do not shrink back. Do not doubt yourself. Instead, ask, "What can this failure teach me?" Take the lesson, rise again, and keep moving forward. That is how ordinary people transform their lives and achieve extraordinary things. Stop running from failure. Embrace it. Learn from it. Use it. And let it lead you to success. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more life-changing lessons. And remember, every failure is a step forward. Every setback is preparation. And every fall is a chance to rise higher.